let's talk about the God wink, about the beautiful God wink. So I'm just thinking if we can just get some background about how it happened, because the reason why it fascinated me so much was that this was just like serendipitous. It was just beyond words serendipitous. And when I was doing that lovely course with Suzanne Giesemann, the Mediumship Course, and in it she spoke about the God wink and how these God winks are happening for us all the time, and we just don't notice them because we're not tuning into the fact that there's something lovely coming. So I just love that she was saying, if you start paying attention and you start really looking at how wonderful this life is being orchestrated around us, and then you tell me the story of that. So I would love you to tell me that story again.
So what happened was that Todd and I came into an anchorage. We had to come in because there was a cold front coming up, which they come up every periodically. And it was going to be, we needed protection from the wind and the storms. So we came into this anchorage. We then needed to go and get some groceries because we'd be on the boat for a number of days. And so we took the dinghy to shore and walked into town. This is like a teeny tiny little island. Walked into town, got our groceries, and then came back, got on the dinghy and came back to the boat. Well, we were stuck on the boat for 4 or 5 days because of all the rain, and it was heavy rains and storm and waves and lots of wind, like 32 knots of wind. And so we couldn't go anywhere. But in the meantime, I noticed that I couldn't find my water bottle. Actually, Todd tells me it's his water bottle. So anyhow, couldn't find the water bottle anywhere, but I was like, it's not a big deal. I know it's going to come up somewhere along the line. And I kept thinking about it, where's the water bottle? And every time I could look somewhere else, I looked for it, but I couldn't find the water bottle. But it was on the boat somewhere. And so then once the winds had calmed down and the seas had calmed down, we decided to head back to the boat, to the shore again, because now we had to get more groceries and I wanted to go for a run. And so we took the dinghy in, but we were actually looking for a red funnel. Todd, it had blown off the boat. So we took our dinghy to the far end of the beach, which is like, this is like a 1/4 mile long beach. There was a lot of debris from the rains and the wind and the storms and the high tides, it dumped a hell of a lot of stuff on the beach. Yeah. So the beach was like just covered in stuff. And, but you'd think you'd find a red funnel. And so we walked up and down the beach, both of us looking, couldn't see the red funnel anywhere. Eventually just gave up and said, okay, we'll go into town and we'll go for a run and get some more groceries. Came back, and this time I came back onto the beach and then put my shoes on. I was now as far away from the dinghy as you could be. And I just thought, okay, I'll just go for a nice walk and take my shoes off and get some earthing. And did that, put the shoes down, went for a walk, and then came back and I went to pick my shoes up, and I saw this color that I recognized, like covered by, it was peeping out of the sand. And I thought, And then I was like, that's my water bottle. And so I picked up the water bottle. But Joy, it was so funny because I wasn't surprised. I was like, oh, that's my water bottle. And then, got on the boat with dinghy with Todd. And then I started telling you the story. And I'm like, that's my water bottle. I mean, out of the whole beach of like a 1/4 mile long, covered with debris, and then how deep, we'd looked up and down for this funnel, never saw it, but never saw the water bottle. And you wouldn't have seen the water bottle because it was covered for the most part by the sand. It was just this little strip of purple that was showing. And I still wouldn't have seen it, except that 2 inches from the water bottle, I put my shoes. So it was crazy, and so It was, but I only sort of like thought about it afterwards and went, holy cow, this water bottle has been through about 12 high tides. It's been through heavy rains and lots of wind. I mean, strong winds. It managed to stay on the boat. I mean, so obviously what had happened, when I'd gotten offshore the last time before the weather, I had put the water bottle on the, down on the beach, but I didn't even remember doing that. I was convinced the water bottle was on the boat. So I wasn't even looking for it on the beach. I was looking for the red funnel, which I never found. And then because my shoes are right there, which how crazy is that? On the whole beach, I put my shoes next to the funnel, the bottle. I mean, it was lovely. I mean, it really was lovely. It was like, the universe is there for me.
That's exactly it. And when you didn't recognize it, it's almost like you just thought it should be here, I should find it. And you'd set that up as an intention because you thought it was on the boat. And you kept that intention and that connection to it alive, that any day now I'm going to find it. Any day now I'm going to find it. That's part of an energy of manifesting. It's keeping alive something, because what you're doing is you're connecting your consciousness, your energy awareness to the thing, and you're keeping that little stream of connection open. No wonder you found it, even though it wasn't on the boat, but you were thinking it was and you were looking for it on the boat. That energy there is the energy of anticipation, Judy. I'm going to find it. I don't know when, not fussing. I'm just going to trust and allow and believe that I'm going to find it. And there it was found. And the thing you were looking for, like the red funnel, that wasn't found.
But I wasn't really attached to the funnel, so that was okay.
That's okay.
The water bottle I wanted.
Exactly. It's just too remarkable. And to put your shoes right down next to it so that it says you can't miss this. When you pick the shoes up, you're going to find your beautiful bottle. You're going to see it once again.
And it's interesting because, until you explained that, I never really thought about it that way, that I'm putting energy out into the universe, and that I still have that attachment, and I put the energy out. I didn't realize that. I was just like, I just felt really confident that I was going to find this bottle, but it was going to be on the boat that I was going to find it. So it was just that was just like a real mind blower for me.
Absolutely. So if it had stayed in the boat and you'd found on the boat, it wouldn't have been such a big deal. No, but for it to be a true God wink that says, I am moving this universe, and you darling people, if you plug into this energy, you're going to find all things unfold for you. It's going to be delightful. And so you stayed connected to that, and it becomes a true God wink. It's saying, don't you worry, I've got you, I'm looking out for you. And there is a part of you that knew that all would be well, all would be well. Wouldn't it be gorgeous, Judy, if we could translate all those energies, that anticipation, that trust, that assurance, that connectivity that you kept going to every other step of our life? Wouldn't that be something?
I guess in some way, it really has been such a great example for me in terms of translating it into other aspects of my life.
Yes.
And I like the way in your last Inside Timer thing that you did, where you were talking about visualizing a really positive experience that you may have had, and then manifesting that if that was something that you wanted, it was important for you, whatever the feeling was, by manifesting it through an experience you had previously about that. And I was thinking, that's kind of a great example for me going forward, because it's raising my energy, and then it's so it's allowing me to open up more to what the universe has. So not that I can explain it well, because you're much better at that than I am.
No, but you're living it and you're saying it so perfectly, just perfectly, because that's exactly what's happening. You're using a known experience, which confirms to us that we can. So you take a known experience, and it could be this beautiful experience. You're going to be able to pull this one out of your magic hat of divine experiences that assure you and give you such faith. Or we could use anyone, and we can even use the smallest thing, like when someone smiles at you, or a little baby puts their hand in your hand. That it can be such a sweet and a dear and a small little expression of kindness, love, or connectivity. And then we hold that in our heart and our mind. And when we want to uplift our energy so that we can really try and connect into all that is in a more delightful way, filled with the divine light, delightful. If we want to do that, we tap into that memory, and it's in the head. It's kind of in this data bank. But then we take it and then we drop it into the heart. And when you drop it into the heart, you ask your being to feel it again as if it's happening. So for you, that experience with your lovely water bottle, you get the sense of what was I seeing? What was I hearing, smelling, tasting, touching? All of the senses come into it, and then you can feel it in a much more amplified way. And the moment you do that, it pulls it up through your heart, and you could feel a little lift. You get that little lift in your heart. Then you know you've flicked your energy up into a higher frequency. And from that, you start to transmit. To me, that is the way to switch on our electromagnetic field. Electro is the mind and the thought, and the magnetic is the heart and the feelings. And you switch it on. So you use a thought, drop it into your heart, amplify it to the feeling that you remember, and let your cellular memory start to remember. And your imaginal cells awaken and go, yes, let's reimagine this, shall we? And they start imagining, just like the caterpillar's imaginal cells helps it to become a butterfly. That's what we're doing. I just love it. And then that energy becomes the field. We lift it up through our heart.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so